We're doing lesson 4.4, solving equations by multiplying and dividing. These are also known as solving one-step equations. So you'll be doing one operation. It's very similar to what we did yesterday. Again, you can see here, do the opposite of what you see, only this time we will be doing the opposite of multiplying and dividing. So our very first example has 4a equals 64. So what I need to know is what 4a really means. When you see 4a, what operation is there, Rusty? 4 times a. So I see times, I got to do the opposite. And what is the opposite of that, Rusty? Divide. So what you're going to do for your work tonight is you're going to draw a line under each one of these. That's a division bar. And the number that we want to go away is 4. 4 divided by 4 is 1. So that you can cancel out and just bring down a. The other side is 64 divided by 4. So, Rusty, how many times does 4 go into 6? 1. So I do 4, and I subtract that. I get 2, and bring this 4 down. How many times does 4 go into 24?
3 times?
Nope, that's only 12.
6.
6 times. So 6 times 4 is 24. There's no remainder, so a equals 16. So we divide both sides by 4, a equals 16. All right, let's look at this one. b over 6 equals 25. So we've got to figure out what b over 6 really means. What does b over 6 really mean? James?
B divided by 6.
It means b divided by 6. So the opposite of divided by 6 would be what? Multiplication. So here's how you're going to show your work on these. You're going to put a multiplication dot here and put times 6. And over here, put times 6. Because remember, whatever you do on one side, you do on the other. Now on the left, I want you to realize the 6 you're multiplying is really 6 over 1. And remember when we, let me kind of put a divider here. And remember when we multiplied fractions, if there was common factors top and bottom, we could cancel out. So I'm going to cancel out those 6's, and then we would be left with b over 1. Well, anything over 1, you can kind of eliminate that 1. So therefore we've got b, which is what we wanted. b equals, and now we've got to take 25 times 6, James. So what's 6 times 5?
6 times 5 is 30.
30. So I'm going to put a 0 down, carry the 3. 6 times 2
12.
plus 3.
50.
So we're going to say b equals 150. So multiply both sides by whatever that denominator is, and we would have it. All right, now there's always got to be some negatives involved. So the first one, negative 7w equals 161. Zach, what does negative 7w mean?
You changed, like, you put 7 over, like, you put the 7 over the other.
Okay, because negative 7w is showing us what? Multiplication?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're going to divide by what?
7.
Okay, make sure you divide by the negative 7 because it's a negative 7 that's there. Negative 7 divided by negative 7 cancels out. And now we got to take 161 divided by 7. How many times does 7 go into 16, Zach? 7 into 16.
3 times?
That's 21.
Twice.
Twice. So 2 times 7 is...
What?
What's 2 times 7?
14.
14. So 16 minus 14 is...
3.
No. 16 minus 14.
I'm confused, like, completely.
Take 16 minus 14.
12. What? I'm like,
What's 6
I don't
minus
even know
4?
what to do.
What's 6 minus 4?
2.
2. And then the 1 minus 1 is nothing. So I've got a 2. So 16 minus 14 is 2. Bring down that 1. How many times does 7 go into 21?
3 times.
3 times. And so there's nothing left over. So W equals, I'm going to say 23, but it's a positive divided by a negative. So when the signs are different, what's the answer? When the signs are different, the answer is
Positive or negative?
it's negative. So negative 23.
I'm like totally confused.
Okay, so we're going to work on this last one over here. Y over negative 5 equals negative 16. Y over negative 5 equals negative 16. So we've got to figure out what Y over negative 5 means. Carissa, what does Y over negative 5, what operation is there? We have to multiply because there's division there. And what am I going to multiply by? Negative 5. And when I multiply by negative 5, this one cancels out. And Y equals, and we got to take negative 16 times negative 5. So let's do that off to the side. Carissa, what's 5 times 6? 30. And then 5 times 1 plus 3? 8. Okay, what is, it's a negative 16 times a negative 5. So the signs are the same. What's the answer? Positive. So Y equals 80. All right, we've got to do one more. There's a word problem towards the bottom, and it talks about Esteban. Not sure where that name came from, but Esteban. Anybody still writing the red? Okay, so we'll scroll down. This is one last word problem. Esteban spent $112 on baseball cards. He paid $14 a box. Write and solve an equation to show how many boxes he bought. Okay, what's the thing that we don't know? What are we looking for in that word problem? Braden? Okay, how many cards or how many? He bought cards, but it's how many? It says solve an equation to show how many boxes he bought. So the part that we don't know is how many boxes. So pick a variable to stand for boxes, Braden. B. So we're going to say B is the number of boxes. And we've got to write an equation and solve it. He spent a total of $112. So whatever we do, it's going to equal $112. If he paid $14 a box, how could we use that variable B, Braden, and show that we paid $14 a box? Yeah, times 14 times B, and he spent a total of $112. So this is now solving the equation. 14 times B. We see multiplication, so what do we have to do, Braden, to solve? If we see multiplication, we have to divide. So we got to divide both sides by 14. And it cancels over here. And B equals, well, we got to figure out 112 divided by 14. So we might need to estimate because there's no, it's going to have to go into the full 112. So you want to try to estimate something there, Braden, on that? What do you think? 14 times what? Okay, so you kind of estimate and take 14 times some things until we get there. And I think we found that 14 times 8 is 112. So therefore, when we divide 112 by 14, we get 8. And how would we label that? He bought 8 what, Braden? He bought 8 boxes. So when you're doing a story problem, make sure that you label and in your final answer. So he bought 8 boxes.